Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about functions in Swift. Okay, so what is the purpose of functions? What we can do is execute a block of code we want. Okay, we can use functions to execute a block of code that we want. For that, we write func keyword, and let's say the function, and we have to provide the function name. Say hello is the function name, and inside we print hello. Now I can call this function multiple times and see the result over here. It says hello, 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 hello. So this, whatever the task is being defined inside this block, we are performing the same task over and over again by simply calling the function. Now what if I want to create a function that takes in two input numbers and return and print the sum. You can add a function, and if we want to take two input numbers, what we have to do is provide parameters to the function. Okay, for that we can say the function name is add, provide num1 which is of integer type, num2 which is of integer type as well. Inside we can say sum equals to num1 plus num2, and then finally print the sum of the two numbers is, and provide the sum. If I want to call this function, now I can say add, and if you look closely, we always have to provide a label, so I'll talk about that later on. So whenever you are passing values into the function, we always have to provide the label. So let's say the number 1 is 32 and number 2 is 89. If I run it, it says the sum of two numbers is 121, and it is working fine. Okay, I will talk about labels later on, but right now I want to return this sum instead of printing it inside the block. What if I want to return this sum value, instead of printing it here, return the sum value from this function? For that we can just say, okay, we have to provide this arrow and say it returns a value integer type, because if I add two integers, it will give me an integer result. Now instead of printing it, what I can say, return this sum from here. Now if I'm calling this function that returns an integer as my answer, what I can say is, okay, this function will return me some values or result. Let me assign it to this variable. I can do that and print the sum. The sum is sum. If I run it, it works fine. Okay, now this is how we provide the parameters and return type. So basically return a value from a function. Now I talked about us always have to provide these labels whenever we call the function. If you want to call the function like this, let sum2 equals to add simply these two values, it won't work because it always wants us to provide the labels. Now if I want to do something like this, at first we should know that we can provide some extra labels to the parameters. What do I mean by that? So I can say number 1 have number 1 as a label, or I can just say, okay, this to be first number and the second one to be second number, just for the labels. Okay, the calculations that we perform inside this block will be based on this value, number 1 and number 2, but whenever you want to pass the arguments we have to do provide the labels that we have specified right here. So we have to say first number and second number instead of number 1 and number 2, because we are providing the labels by ourselves. So right here I have to provide something, and then here also. Now it will work fine. It provides the sum. But what if I want to provide sum 2 and simply pass in two values without providing the label? If I want to do that, what I can do is just omit the labels, like providing this underscore. We can omit the label values. Provide underscore here as well. Now if I run this and print the sum, it works fine. Okay, so that's all about providing the labels, omitting the labels, providing a different label, passing the parameters, returning the value from a function. That's all you have to know about functions. Thank you for listening.